online dating.
Yeah, online dating.
That was cool.
Another...
Oh wait, no, I have something to say about online dating. I was watching a show about, you know, these websites with sugar daddies and sugar babies and stuff. And girls, so I have a friend who's actually done this. She said that she's young and her looks are in a phase, so she wants to use her looks, it should be now. And she went on dates with like sugar daddies, and like they would pay her monthly allowance and all this kind of stuff. So I watched a documentary on it, and
you know this guy?
I actually know a girl that's on it, right? But now there's a documentary that I watched recently, and this was in Australia, and girls had good experience, and another girl had a bad experience. So she went on a first date with a guy, sugar daddy.
Have you been on a date with sugar daddy?
Never. What are you trying to say? And so some women have had good experiences.
I'm trying to test you.
And joking. And another girl had a really bad experience. So she went on a date with a guy, sugar daddy or whatever. It went fine, and they met up for a second date. And the guy picked her up. They're driving. They've gone closer to the restaurant, and the guy never stopped off, and they kept on driving. And he locked the doors. And she's like, "Where are you going?" Long story short, he kidnapped her, kept her in the house, used her as like a sex slave kind of thing. And the girl didn't even go to the police or anything because she was too embarrassed because of the nature of the situation and them meeting off a sugar daddy website. Just wanted to say that, so kids, watch out.
Isn't that also risky in terms of OnlyFans?
I mean, I don't see how it could be risky because you're posting videos and pictures of yourself doing whatever you're doing. You don't have to necessarily be naked, by the way, because...
What, on OnlyFans?
Yeah, but some of these girls must be linking up with people as well.
Some of the OnlyFans accounts, they do offer bundles, quote unquote, and they say about meats included in some of the subscriptions. So you get like different levels of subscriptions, and then like the top tier ones being obviously like hundreds of pounds, or hundreds of dollars.
Okay.
And then people will meet up and share their experience and have a chance to be featured on the OnlyFans.
And also, to take into account, with going back to OnlyFans, the documentary that I think may be the same one that we've seen, but there was girls on there that were underage and sending in their details to apply to be on there. But the way that OnlyFans work is that you send in an ID and they automatically confirm it. So there's actually girls on there at the moment that are underage.
No, that's disgusting.
Why is it?
Because you're underage.
Okay, cool, they're underage.
Yeah, and then there's like these
it's the same underage ones that get influenced by the WAP tune.
And all on OnlyFans. For real.
It's a mad one. It's a mad one. That's why these days, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna say it out now. I try not to have an opinion on anything. Because it's like everything and everything. In the sense of like, look, like, can we control? What can we control?
Kind of
what can we control now? In this day and age? We can't control anything. My kids, I'm gonna have kids.
The internet messing it up.
Maybe you have control, parental control.
Who's control? Are you controlling that?
Well, my cousin used to do that. She had parental control on her internet, and she'll go and check her kid's history.
Yeah, my son can't do all that stuff.
Exactly. To be a parent. You know what I mean?
So while you take another raffle, Pierre and Rockwell, show up.
Yes.
And now Lena. Yes.
Can I take that?
Just in
Alright,
case.
I'm gonna sit for because I'm getting way too comfy. Don't forget, guys, we're still playing the yes and no, Yana. Looking at you when I'm saying that. Okay, let's pick a topic. Hopefully we haven't spoken about it already. Well, we've done this already. It says OnlyFans.
Okay.
Right, next. Vegans. I know who wants to start with this. My best friend, or one of my best friends, in case someone's watching, like who the fuck is that? But one of my best friends is a vegan, and he also has a vegan restaurant called Comptoir V in Kensal Rise, guys. Check it out, it's very good. And you know, before getting to know him as well as I do now, I didn't understand vegans, and I thought it was really difficult and stuff. But if you know what to cook or where to go and eat and stuff, it's actually really not that bad. You can get really good vegan food.
I agree.
But I know that a lot of people have had bad experiences with going on a date with a vegan person.
I've known of that, yeah.
I'm pescatarian. I stopped eating meat and chicken about 11 years ago. A few years before I started as well.
Okay. Any specific reasons or?
Health reasons at first.
Okay.
I was really ill for a bit, and doctors just weren't helping me. And I started doing research. Did a whole cleanse, like 2 weeks, no food, just like food and water. And we started cutting meat up, and everything just cleared up within a month. So when I saw the effects on myself, like, you know what I mean, I just had to go through with it.
Here's a broader one. Dr. Sebi.
Dr. Sebi. He was
Sebi,
actually one of the ones that I saw at that period of time when I was ill. He was one of the ones that I discovered online.
Could you?
And listening to him, he kind of made it make sense to me. I was like, all right.
Could you explain or enlighten us on who Dr.
Sebi. Dr. Sebi, he was a great man as far as I'm concerned, but he's quite controversial. Some people hate him, and some people call him a charlatan or like, what do you call it? Snake oil salesman.
What is that?
Because he claims to have cured AIDS, cancer, and herpes, many diseases.
Where is he from?
Honduras. He just died recently.
Okay.
And actually,
Apparently he was murdered.
Nipsey Hussle was about to make a film on it.
Yeah.
Right, I've actually heard about that.
I'm not sure if that's still going through. I hope it does, because it needs to be seen.
Well, apparently Nick Cannon has released, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, Nick Cannon, that's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole nother topic.
Which could then lead us to Wiley.
Yes.
But go ahead.
My thoughts on the whole veganism is I have a close friend who's a vegan. He's been a vegan for like 3 years now. And not only, what I admire is that he has always been a fitness fanatic. And for someone to be...
What's his name, brother?
No, he used to be in a band with me. His name's Cairo.
Shout out to Cairo.
Shout out Cairo, boom bang. What I admire about his whole journey is that he's always been on this fitness regime, and he obviously transformed from eating meat and keeping, his bulk with eating meats and that, and then going to vegan, and then being vegan and still keeping that bulk.
I was going to say, did you keep the bulk? Did you know there was a difference between when you...
He still kept the bulk, and if anything, he's more defined in
so
what he
does. So he probably went to nutrition, he probably knows...
He's deep in nutrition,
yeah.
And I respect that, and I admire it. My problem is I've grew up on eating meat and fish and everything else, and I feel that without meat or without anything, my energy is low, and how am I gonna cope throughout the day and everything else?
These are the things that you do think because we're taught the wrong way about food. So like we're kind of raised with these things in our head.
Could you move them?
So in some ways,
a little bit
you
so
have
it's
to
not more in the
reprogram
middle,
your mind
just tap it.
if you want to take that journey. You know what I mean?
That's exactly.
You definitely have to anyway because we're up.
You said it so many times, I don't want to cut you off. You'll see my facial expression.
I didn't know what that was.
You need to take at least 3. So take half.
That's how you know I was getting into the topic.
No, I feel you. So, like, with him being a vegan, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm almost on that transition myself. I'm now a pescatarian. I've been a pescatarian for a while. Since my whole, so then I've been a pescatarian for like a year and a bit now. And I'm now transforming to, I'm a vegetarian, I would say now, but I'm getting to that vegan stage.
Yeah, it's difficult. That's making that transition is difficult for me, just because of why I was asking about the bulk and all that. Because you have to, if you're going to do vegan, you have to know what you're doing.
As a bodybuilder,
right?
You have to know
in fitness.
Because it's so easy for you to be underneath, to not.
That's so right. I tried it, and so I wanted to try and be vegan for a minute just to see what it was like and do like a cleanse. So I started cutting down. So I decided to be vegan, a vegetarian for a couple of weeks to then move on to trying to be vegan. Being vegetarian is so easy. You know, it's fine. There's loads of things that you can still eat. You know, I love cheese. I can still eat cheese. But when I tried to become vegan, that's where it was more difficult. There are still many dishes that you can eat. But I don't know what happened to me, but my blood pressure was low, and I kept on getting head rushes, and I was just feeling dizzy, and it was just, you know, and I was like, no, I can't be doing this.
I know a few people who actually done that as well, and then made themselves sick because you don't know about nutrition. They're just jumping into it without understanding what you're doing. So,
was it an imbalance in what you was doing that maybe caused you to feel this way?
I'm not sure, because there are so many dishes, especially where I come from, you know, there are many dishes where there are no meats and or fish or anything like that, and it's a big difference. And I don't know, I don't see where it went wrong. Maybe because my whole entire life I was eating a lot of dairy products, or I don't know what it was, but...
So seeing that veganism is like a big thing now, because I think it's a big topic now. Everyone somehow is like, you don't know who's a vegan and who's not now. There's so many people on it. Obviously the knowledge is widespread. Yeah, there's fashion vegans as well, but the knowledge is so widespread now that everybody can obviously naturally gravitate to
I
that.
think that was a shock to me as well.
It was also a shock for you as well.
Was it?
Yes, it was.
It was a tough one.
Not for me.
It's a tough one. But like in terms of
Taking a shock.
being a vegan, the whole attitude towards it is obviously not just okay, I'm trying to be healthy, but it's like, are we meant to slaughter? Are we meant to kill animals for our own pleasure to eat?
Right.
Where we can live and sustain a life,
not only that,
not being able to do that.
Not only that, we're not supposed to eat animals.
Says who?
Physiologically, we're not kind of carnivores. They tell us we are. Where's your canines?
So,
Where's your big canines?
right here.
No, they don't have canines. You go see a lion and you see what canines look like.
Of course, but they eat raw meat.
Exactly.
However, in the Bible, in the Quran,
you should be able to eat raw meat.
if you believe in God and you believe in religion,
Right.
it's there for a
If you don't
purpose.
take it to religion, in the beginning you weren't supposed to eat it. In the beginning it says the fruit and the herbs are for your meat. It says that, take Genesis right in the beginning. And it wasn't until later when mankind fell that it was like, all right, yes, you can eat meat. And if you are going to eat meat, eat these types of meat because they're clean for you. So the original thing wasn't to eat meat. It was like, look, our body's made up of what, 99 minerals or something? And every mineral that our body's made up of that we need to sustain comes from the earth, comes from the ground. If you're eating animals, it's just coming, you're eating secondhand.
But it's there for a
You're
reason.
eating secondhand minerals.
Not necessarily. It's there for a reason, and it's meant to be eaten in moderation.
In desperation.
Moderation.
In desperation.
I guess so. Moderation, desperation, you know. But I guess just once in a while.
I don't usually get into that argument. I just try to keep it on the.
It's a deep one.
On the physical.
But I get in this argument with my boy all the time, and for some reason, although he says what he says, I can't help but believe what he says is true, because I feel like if as witness, I see him, he's healthy, he's strong, and he lives off everything apart from eating meat, then why do we need to eat meat? Why do we need to kill
Why do we need to kill something else?
something
Why do we
to
kill something
sustain
else?
our
You
life?
know-
What we need is just like
you know,
plants and like
when you
that gives
eat-
us food.
Okay, sorry to say this, but when you eat, not sorry, but when you eat halal meat, for instance, the way that you bring up I don't know, you raise the cows, I don't know what the word is, but you know, the way that you take care of them and the way that you slaughter them, everything has to be in a way where you take care of the animals and you kill them by the jugulars and they don't really feel anything, you know, and then you just get rid of the blood and all this kind of stuff so that the meat is better for you, and the animal isn't treated in any bad way, even the way that it's kept in the farm or wherever it is, you know. So
Alright, can I ask you a question? So if you was a cow, right? Obviously you're not. And you had
Someone
your
say,
Yeah, that was 2 years
who said that? Who said what?
from earlier as well.
well,
Me?
Yeah.
Did I say anything? Really?
Listen, at this point, I don't even know where you're questioning it. For the culture, by the culture.
There we go. So if you was a cow and you had your cattle and everything else, would you want to be slaughtered for the benefit of someone else to eat you, and you've taken your whole life away from growing up and living a life with your cattle?
Have you ever seen the movie? I forgot what it's called. It's a movie by...
Answer my question first.
I'm going to link it to it.
Okay, please.
There's a movie by Seth Rogen. You do know him, right? And they did an animated movie. I forgot what it's called, but it's in a supermarket, and all the animals, all the food is animated, like sausages and stuff, you know.
I love that film.
What's it called?
That film.
Sausage Party.
Sausage Party.
Love that film.
Right? So you do see the link in between the link between the...
No.
Yeah.
Drink. The link is, you know, you said, would you want, so they're in the supermarket, they don't know what the afterlife is for them. They just think that this is what they're meant to be, the masters are supposed to come, pick them, and then they go. But then they find out what actually happens, and it's a madness, they get eaten and all this kind of stuff. So animals don't know what's going on.
No.
But he said to me, "Oh, would you want to be slaughtered?"
You're not getting what I'm saying.
Have you ever seen an animal when it's about to be killed?
Yeah.
Like, I've lived in Nigeria. Like, I've
If you eat
when
halal meat,
when you go get a goat, yeah, and you're about to slaughter the goat.
Apart from halal meat,
about to die.
how do you slaughter in Nigeria?
halal meat, yeah.
How do you slaughter in Nigeria?
I don't know.
Regardless of how you
There you
slaughter
go.
an animal,
It's fine.
regardless of how you slaughter an animal, yeah. At the end of the day, slaughter is a process of killing something. Okay, it doesn't matter how you kill it.
Do you want to take?
I would say on her behalf, though, like in terms of religion, halal, you're right, because yes,
Blasphemy.
that is the way to do it if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, you're going to do it that way.
Definitely, I agree with that. It's cool, because you're doing it in the most blissful way, yeah? But I will take a shot, yeah? But what I'm saying is it right to consume meat for your own...
Because he needs to take one.
For your own...
It sure is. It sure is. So you want to
Do we
leave that?
need to survive?
Okay, how are plants?
That's the question.
What
Do we
about-
need to survive of meat? Yes, plants are living things.
So, yes. Oh. I poured some in there.
Oh, thank you.
So to break that, go on, continue.
I just want to say about the animals and the killing. What about the plants? What about the salad that's nicely growing in the ground with the roots under the ground?
You don't kill it. It keeps
Of
growing.
course you do.
It keeps growing.
But you pull it off the ground.
They don't
It's the
have
same
feelings. They
thing.
don't have feelings like
But
we have that, like animals.
How do you know that?
They're not sentient beings.
They're not sentient beings.
They can't. They haven't got a thought process.
Who said that now? See that?
The audience.
Thought process.
Did you speak to the plants when I was there? Do you know?
They didn't speak to me either. They didn't make a ba, moo, or no other sound.
Do you know what I mean? They're not that level of creature.
I'm just saying. I'm a hypocrite of
you
this.
can eat an animal, a plant, and it still lives.
Yeah.
You just take a piece of corn, it's still there, it can still grow. Do you know what I mean? And you take the seeds and you plant it back, and it grows back again.
I'm a big hypocrite because I'm very confused in this whole thing, okay? I love meat, I love fish, I love all these other things, yeah? But I feel like there's something in me that still feels like it's wrong. Like when I went to St. Lucia, I went to St. Lucia one time, and my grandfather, he was slaughtering his lamb for us to eat. When he was slaughtering it, I saw it with my own eyes. Yeah, I did say yeah. I saw it in my own eyes, and in that moment, I felt so much guilt. I felt so much sadness. I felt so much sorrow for this creature, knowing that I'm going to eat this. And I thought, you know what, this thing could have lived, and it could have had
And then died.
And
nothing would have happened.
It would die a natural cause.
And then
of
what?
Life. And then what? Like us human beings, we would have
Buried it.
decomposed, buried it, and that's it.
No use to it.
He's got a question.
So we should eat human beings. and kill it in a humane way.
That's not the same thing because humans
Why?
are there for different things to do.
And what's the difference between us and human beings?
What's the animal? Us, I'm a human being.
And what's the difference between us
And animals.
and the animals?
The animals.
That's a slow moment.
I don't know about
What's the difference between us and human beings?
I'm really trying to say, are you an animal?
Yeah, this is what I'm
But we
trying
are
to say.
animals, aren't we? Wait, there's a question there.
The audience's question. First off, the audience actually had a little thing on. So you're differentiating animals to fish. What's the difference between animals and fish? And then the second comment would actually be the next question would actually be from the audience: is it just a fad? Is it actually like social matters that people decide? You know what, being vegan is probably the better option. Is it the social factor of, do you know what, the whole glam life of, oh yeah, being vegan, it might be better, it might be worse, you know, what would you guys say is the, not best, because no one knows best, but what would you guys say is the more correct path? Do you reckon everyone should go pescatarian, vegan? Do you reckon everyone should stay meat eating, you know?
I do think vegan is the ultimate path. Like for me, it was I worked my way down from meat to chicken, now to fish. I've been on fish for time because it's hard to move from fish to vegan, but that's the ultimate goal. Because from my research and from my understanding, we were never meant to eat meat. Everything we need comes from the ground. We don't have to kill other animals.
So you don't differentiate between
fish
a living animal in the sea and a living animal.
I think there is a difference, yeah. I mean, the difference between, for me, being pescatarian is more not on the moral side of it, on the health side of it, knowing that fish are cleaner animals and what it does to my system, like when I ingest it. It's a lot cleaner than eating.
So I feel like it's a moral aspect of it. It's like, do you respect life in general? When I was a kid, I was like 7 years old, yeah, and there was a pothole, whatever, full of thousands of ants, right? And I remember this day,
oh my God,
till now, always remember this day. And the evil kid in me, right? For some reason, I had this urge in me to just stamp on all these thousands of ants, and I stood on them, and I just killed loads of ants, and it stuck with me to this day. I don't know why.
Well, they never bit you?
No, they didn't do nothing to me. There was just
what
loads
ants
of...
was that?
It's just normal
My story
ants.
went different. My story went different.
Normal road band ants.
Right.
Yeah, on the roads. There's thousands of them. And I was just like, let me just step on them and kill bare them.
Listen, I was in boarding school, yeah. I had the same story happen to me when I was in boarding school.
Oh, boarding school.
I'm walking up to... we're walking up to, what is it? Like in the evening we used to have like studies or whatever. Like in the dining room. But it's dark. And we walk in and my hostel was like right at the back of the school. It was just pitch black. We were walking across like trees and whatever trying to get to the thing. And so all of us walking in line. And I think it was the rainy season in Nigeria. And the rainy season, all the ants and all that come out the ground and all kind of insects. Right? And I swear I just walked just by accident. Yeah?
No.
I walked just by accident and stepped into like an ant mound. There was one of them fire ants. Bro, I had to take my trousers off. The way these, like,
because they were biting you. That's a different situation, though.
Shots.
That's because you done that out of...
You went into their home. They felt attacked, so
that was
they
by
attacked
accident.
you.
I wasn't even trying to do that.
That happened to me. We were in Jamaica. We were there to shoot music video, whatever. And across the road from the supermarket, you can see the sea. And I wanted to go, and it was like the sunset. I wanted to post on Instagram, you know, and I was playing Bob Marley. I thought this would be sick, the sunset, Bob Marley. As I'm doing that, I felt something like sting me, and it was just, and it turns out that I stepped on a ant's nest, and then it just like biting me and stuff.
Did you kill him?
I was screamed and ran. I definitely didn't.
Okay, so this is the thing. This is what I'm saying. So what I'm trying to say is life. Are we trying to make up an excuse for whose life matters more than whose? As human. Yeah, no, exactly. This is what I'm getting to. No. Black lives matter, trust me, because of the situation, yeah? But I'm saying as animals, insects,
Right.
everything. Life is life.
However,
Why are we as humans, as superiority fucking whatever we are, who are we to say this life matters more than ours?
Would that be down to just sentiency and down to the fact that we are quote unquote top of the food chain?
Correct.
Definitely.
Correct. Because what's the sheep gonna do? Go to work?
But who said we're top of the food chain?
But we are.
Why?
Because the way that we're built, the way that we are, our physical condition, everything.
But the way we're built is that we do not need to kill anything and we can survive on plant-based natural resources.
Well, I told you what happened to me when I tried it with natural resources. I had low blood pressure and I was dizzy.
But that's because you never do it the right way, though. I mean, you can't look at that experience and like, that's it. You know what I mean? You've got to do it the right way.
Study Dr. Sebi. Study Dr. Sebi. Listen, watch all Nipsey Hussle fucking interviews.
Yes.
And watch all Dr. Sebi stuff and you fucking realise.
Dr. Sebi's the man.
I'm on that journey right now.
Before we start an argument, let's move on to the next topic.
Okay, sorry.
Which I kind of like this. It is
It
love.
was Spanish. Is that Spanish?
It's.
I'm drunk now. So, I'm seeing English and Spanish. What's that?
That's just in case.
Mi cosa de Satane Antonio.
Somebody
Okay,
said
cool.
yes. That wasn't a yes. That was somebody said yes.
How do you say yes in Spanish?
Love.
Pardon?
How do you say yes in Spanish?
Go on.
It's a trick. Anyway, if you can see this, it says love in this generation. I don't know how.
Is it?
I don't know how this was Spanish. It's because you guys, you UK people, you don't write like this.
Is it?
It sure is.
Okay.
You tried it.
So that is
loved in this generation.
okay.
But we kind of spoke on that earlier because I was all talking about the whole Disney thing and like growing up thinking that I'll be married in my 20s and having kids and a house.
Does love exist in this generation?
Love definitely exists.
It does?
Come on.
I feel like the problem.
What's this generation though? What?
Our generation or the generation after?
Exactly.
Both. I guess both, but we're kind of like 3 generations between the 3 of us. 4. Well, and is it under 5?
crew.
It's like 5 of us. So maybe we should move on to the next one because.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
But I do want to know if you guys have ever been in love before.
I've definitely.
We're not doing ads. So we're on our last topic now, and the topic is mental health. So we're gonna end this on a depressing note, pun intended.
Yeah.
Shot.
Shot.
I called you already because I knew you were gonna be the one. So we're here to speak about mental health, which is a very important thing to talk about because no one really speaks about this, and everyone goes through. Everyone goes through mental health, and especially now that we're during a pandemic, COVID-19. This is day 123 million. We're still going through it.
Exactly.
I can speak for myself and say that it has been a very difficult time.
Can we ask you your experience on it?
Sure. At the beginning, I found this so difficult. For one, being told that you have to stay home, I think that was really difficult. You can't go to the shop whenever you want to. Like, how are you going to the corner shop and there's like a long queue? And that became the norm, you know? And maybe I'm one of those people that needs a dictator and where it had to be illegal for me to not go out because I'm not going to lie to you, I was still active and I did get stopped 5 times during the lockdown while driving in the streets in the evening.
You got stopped?
I did get stopped.
So what happens when they stop you?
They stop you, the lights and everything, and you know, they ask you, what are you doing, where are you going, why are you out, you know, there's always so many things that you can say. Well, you know, I was dropping off food and I'm going home, and oh, it's Ramadan, and you know, we were home the whole day and we just want to go and walk, and so many things, you know.
You're the first person I know who said that they got stopped.
5 times, and I've never been stopped any other times, and I drive like a maniac. But I did find it really difficult. Like, mentally, it was very challenging. It was hard to stay at home and there's nothing to do and you've got all these thoughts and you're thinking about your future and did you save and this.
How did you cope?
I just was active.
In what sense?
In the sense of I was going out and I was meeting people. Obviously, it sounds worse than what it is. Like, I didn't go.
So you were going out even though
parties.
you're not. The
I'm
rules
not
were
supposed
you're
to.
not supposed to.
right, I'll just go for a drive. You know, I'll go to the shop. I'd go to the park because there's parks that are open late in the evening, and because you're just there at home the whole day, and then you don't waste any energy. And how are you gonna sleep? You know.
I get that. I get that.
I mean, it was really difficult. It was.
What about for you, Rox?
To be honest, I'm a bit of not much really changed for me. I can't believe that. And to be honest, it was actually good for me creatively because it just sparked something off the whole lockdown period. It was like I've never been so productive, like within a short space of time. Do you know what I mean? It just kind of sparked my creativity. Just I don't know. It just helped me. Just knowing that you're confined to that and like rah, this is it. Like what could happen tomorrow? You don't know. Like so, it just made me focus. And I'm always inside anyway, to be honest. I don't really go out that much. I'm always in the studio.
I guess it's different for you because you're here making music and stuff, so it doesn't matter if you're
editing, recording. So.
Whereas the job that I do, which is producing music videos, I need to go out there and be with other people, which we did do, by the way, but not at the beginning. We waited a few weeks, and then certain artists wanted to shoot videos, and so obviously we had to take the appropriate steps, you know, to make sure that everyone's like safe and stuff. So we had like hazmat suits and masks and gloves and all this type of stuff, which was so uncomfortable. And one time we were filming in the streets, and we had someone call the police and complain and snitch on us, and then the police came down and we had no permits, by the way. They didn't care about that.
They shut it down?
They didn't. They just came and they were like, look, obviously you're filming something, you know, we've had some complaints and we know that you guys are taking the correct measures because we're all there in hazmat suits and stuff.
This is something that's interesting to talk about. I know we're talking about mental health, but I want to get on the subject of the actual production itself and you being a producer in the game, a big producer in the game. But like, how deep is it on the real, like, in terms of permission, like, to shoot? Is it like, do police really look at this thing as a big thing, like you need to have permission?
They don't.
To shoot there?
They actually don't. What happens usually is a neighbour or a resident will complain because they have nothing else to do. And so then they'll call the council, and then they'll come into the council will come into the film office, or they'll speak to us, and then if it escalates, it then goes to the police. But usually if there's police around, they don't really care. They just come, they're like, okay, we'll get your filming, like, just get on with it. So we're not doing anything bad, we're not harming anything, but it's times where I understand why you need a permit. There are areas where you're filming, like you're filming it in the States, and then when you go through the film office...
That's different in LA. You can't shoot.
Yeah, in LA there's no way. We filmed in an area, you're paying for the location, but you still have to get a permit.
Yeah.
But here there's this one time where I understood where you had to get a permit because the money goes to the residents and it helps with like the plants and all this kind of stuff. But in other ways, like, it doesn't really matter.
Lockdown for me, I'm with you with this because, you know, I live in Kent. This is a very quiet place. And there was a part of lockdown that I was in London and I felt the effects to an extent. And I don't feel like in London I felt like lockdown had more of an impact than it did anywhere else. I feel like in Kent it wasn't so restricted. I feel like you could go out, you could do things. Alright, cool, you know, bars or clubs or, you know, local things.
They were still open.
They were still open. No, there was a lot of places that were closed, but there was like shops that were open and everything else. And you could still maneuver and do what you had to do. But in London, it was like, there was queues, as you said, there was queues, 2 meters and
like, what the
masks
heck
and
was that?
else.
Like the toilet paper and there's no toilet, like what are you doing?
Yeah,
like, if there's a pandemic and the first thing you're going to do is getting toilet paper.
I didn't get that. I didn't understand that, and I felt like that was a mad thing. Like what? So you're cackering, you're pooing bare times that you need toilet paper, like without food, without all the other essentials. That was a bit mad.
No, the food thing got serious though in the beginning.
The pasta, it was pasta and rice.
It was pasta, yeah.
It was like shells.
No, I was vegetables.
Serious in the beginning. I was like, nah, yeah, whatever.
That was true.
Then when it got
Oh, my God.
That was true.
and I was like, I need to go shop.